All right, cool. Let's do it. Do you need your phone for this segment, Mike?
No.
Okay, cool.
Why
don't you start off this time? Nice.
All right, send it to you. Did
Yes.
you use it? Did you use it today?
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
Yep.
Right.
This is the first, and actually that's what prompted me doing something similar for my shows.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
All right. Who's up first?
You.
Oh, okay. All right. As promised in last week's show.
Yeah, okay.
I am reviewing The Bunker.
Nice.
So I've got The Bunker #1. This is from Oni Press. It's a double-sized issue. I was going to do the first two, but after reading this, I can't do a review on the first two. That'd be 3 issues. There's a lot of information in just this one issue. So we have Joshua Hale Fialkov is the writer, and Joe Infernari is the artist. I need to say these names out loud because when I read them, it's easy in my head.
Yeah.
Yep. This actually came out February 11th, 2014, and this is a 19-issue series. So I actually did mess up last week when I talked about it a little bit. We've got a group of 5 friends. There's 4 of them. We have a group of 5 friends, and they all create time capsules before going off to college. And they go out into the woods to bury them, and they end up finding a bunker. And on top of the bunker, it has 4 of their names. And there's one character, and that's where these are the 4 that have their names on the bunker.
Okay.
Heidi is one of the girls, and her brother is Billy, and his name isn't on the bunker. And it says right there, it's like there's got to be something here for me, right? There's nothing in the bunker for him at all. Each of the other 4, they find letters from their future selves. But once again, there's no letter from Billy in there. And one of them, in the future, one of them becomes president of the United States. And this is one of the girls. If you can read the little end of her letter to herself, it's signed First Lady of the United States of America. So one of the girls ends up marrying one of the boys, and they're First Lady and President of the United States. Yep. And what they find out is that one of the 5 causes the collapse of civilization.
Oh, geez.
Yep. And later on, we end up finding out that there was a letter from Billy. I'm not going to review it anymore. And this has a lot to do with time travel. Obviously, there are letters from their future selves in this bunker. So it's time travel and the civilization, stuff like that. I have so those are all 19 issues. Those are the covers for them all, which I think is great. They kind of stayed real uniform with the layouts.
Do you have them all? Did you say you have them all?
Yeah, I have them all.
Is this your CLZ app screenshot?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
got issue 9 there is kind of a different type cover, maybe a B cover.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I hope not. I'll be angry if it's a B cover. Now I need my phone. I see what you're saying. Yeah, the title's down a little bit more. I don't think they did B covers outside of #1.
Okay.
But this is a what's the #1 must get?
Must have, yeah.
Must have, yeah. This is a must have.
Okay.
I love it, but time. If you like time travel and stuff like that, there's some really, really shocking reveals in this that I don't want to spoil it because I really think people should go out and read this.
And who doesn't love time travel?
Right. Yeah. I mean, some of the best movies are time travel.
Yeah. Whenever you mention that about they find out one of them, I think you mentioned that before. Actually, you reread it that you remembered one of them are responsible for destroying the end of civilization in the future, or whatever. Put me really in mind of Umbrella Academy. You know.
Yeah. Yep. And I think last week I thought it was the one that becomes president was responsible for it, but I was wrong. It's one of the other ones.
Gotcha. Do you already have this, Pat, or we're both going to have to go buy these up, I guess, because it's a must-have.
Yeah, I do not have this series. I remember hearing about it when it came out, but I did not pick it up.
You know what? Actually, I think this might be our first must-have, too. Even our Get-Its had caveats. You didn't even put a caveat on this one, Mike. You just this is a must-have.
Yeah.
So everybody viewing this.
I do have a caveat. This is for adults.
Okay, well that's good. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. There's artwork and language that are not appropriate for kids.
Thought I'd share that comment with you. Steven showed up.
Nice. Steven, go back to the beginning of the show later on.
He says he likes your background there, so.
Yep.
All right. Are you ready, Pat?
Yeah, I can go.
All right, cool.
I read quite a few things this week, but I picked two to narrow it down because the rest of them were sort of like in the middle of the series. So Mike had spotlighted Redman in his What to Watch. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Mike?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Be on the lookout.
Be on the lookout, yeah.
Which, by the way, is on Facebook regularly. There's like 3 new ones up in the last month, though, too, where Mike will post on Facebook, and I'll try to add it to the website for something to literally what it's called, be on the lookout for, because Mike's spotted it, and it's all good stuff. So anyway, continue, Pat.
Yeah, so this is written and drawn by Matt Frank, and I followed him for a few years. He's a primarily a kaiju artist. He's done a lot of Godzilla work, but this is based on the 1972 Redman series from Japan, which was short little segments. Think Ultraman, made by the same company. Where Redman would battle different kaiju. The spin they're putting on the comic series is that this is actually happening somewhere and it's being broadcast to Earth, and you're not sure why this is being done. But Redman's being forced to fight against these kaiju, and let's just say that there's not much story to this. It's kind of a funny thing because a lot of times when people talk about Godzilla or Ultraman and their translation to comics or their adult thoughts versus their childhood thoughts, they don't want the boring human interaction stuff. They want just the monster battles, right? So that's what this is. There's in sort of bringing it back. Marvel in the last couple of years has got the Ultraman license, and they're doing Ultraman books, and you're bogged down with the writers having to sort of create a storyline for the humans, because you can't just have all fights all the time. It has to have some human characters and some interactions and some storylines. Well, this doesn't care. This is just all kaiju fight, all 21 pages. So not much story here, but it's great artwork, great storytelling. As far as the fights, you don't ever get confused about what's going on or following the fight. It's very clear and consistent. There's no story to be read, no humans to worry about. Just Redman beating the snot out of a kaiju every issue, I guess. And you're also, I think, as the story progresses, you're going to try to maybe solve the mystery of why Redman's being forced to fight the kaiju and why it's being broadcast to our Earth. So I would say this is one of those things where I'm sort of in the middle ground, I like it for the artwork. I like it for the battles. But if you're expecting an engrossing storyline, you're not going to get it here, at least not yet. So, kind of on the fence with this one, undecided.
Okay.
One thing I will point out though, this is a $3.99 book from Behemoth, and it comes with a great cardstock cover and great paper quality, and it makes you wonder.
Interesting, yeah. I've got something to say about that during mine actually too.
Yeah.
Behemoth, all of their books are just super high quality in paper. Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, these aren't super selling books, but how can they do it?
Yeah, you'd think if it sold more, it'd be easier to do it. So the fact that they're doing it with it selling less, yeah, it makes
Right.
you go, yeah.
And speaking of the people that are doing less, you talk about a Marvel book who does not have cardstock covers. Sometimes their covers are not even thicker than their interior pages.
Wow, yeah.
Well, but back to the review. This is Avengers Forever 1, and I think it's on like issue 9 or so now. So it's been kind of building up a stack in my house, mainly because I'm far behind on Jason Aaron's regular Avengers run. And this sort of spins out of it. And unfortunately, it sort of spins out on one of the things I've been kind of sort of lackluster, not really loving Jason Aaron, is that his fascination with 1 million BC Avengers. Ghost Rider sort of spins out of the Avengers book at number 50, I believe it was. And that's kind of where this book comes in, and they're on a different Marvel Earth where Ghost Rider was shunted off, I think, along with a Deathlock. And it's their encounters so far with the superheroes, possibly Avengers of that. I think it's 818, maybe 828 Earth. And the main character so far is Tony Stark, who is basically an Ant-Man. I don't like the ties to the 1 million BC Avengers, but I'm going to try to catch up. The reason is I was getting so far behind. I'm like, should I still be buying this book? You guys have all been there.
Yeah.
So I figured I better start reading this. And so far, it's not off to a bad start. It's written, again, I said it was spun out of Jason Aaron's Avengers book. This is also written by Jason Aaron. The artwork is by Aaron Cooter. And he sort of has a cartoony look to him, although he's sort of evolving a little bit. He's becoming a little more realistic, but he's like sort of on the fence between, cartoonish and hyper realism. He puts a lot of detail into his artwork. And here, I've always liked him to a point. And in this book, he seems perfectly fine, and I'm on board for that too. But just like Redman, I would say I'm sort of undecided, sort of leaning towards get it, but we'll see again where this one goes. So both of my books, I'd say, fall into that undecided territory, leaning towards get it, depending on if you're an Avengers fan, you're a Kaiju fan, you might want to bump it up a little bit. But for me, both of them would be undecided at this point.
Are you going to try to continue with the number 2s on these?
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, that's a possibility.
Okay.
Maybe, I'll read a couple of them, and let you know how things have progressed.
All right.
Although Redman number 1 just came out, so
okay.
I have a stack of Avengers Forever that I could catch up on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way too. I haven't read any of them. I have them all. So yeah, I'm the same way. So. But speaking of, yeah, you're wondering, if you aren't going to read them, why you keep getting them. Although, again, no insult to Steven. He already said he buys the covers. He's not reading them, which is okay. And I did this a few weeks ago. I grabbed a couple detectives, but I couldn't really get into the story because even with 2 of them, I wasn't tracking. Do you remember? I can't remember exactly what. I think those are like 1048 and 1049. This is 1060 and 1061. And before I get into the story real quick, something that frustrates me that we've talked about on occasion, I can't remember whether we talked about it on the show or not, is when the cover has nothing to do with what's on the inside. And we talked about how, you know, they'll have the variants and the themed books and they'll do that, which is a completely different thing. But these are like actual things that, you know, based on me knowing the story and reading it, these could have been in the story, but they just did something else. It's so odd to me that basically this is close to something that happened in the story, but definitely not something that happened both of these covers, but they're close. So they could have just actually done something that literally did happen, or make these covers have something that happened. I don't know. You know, I've always had that complaint. My entire comic book reading life, I've thought about that all the time, every time it comes up, you know.
In the time of variants, you know, variants could be like this, and then the actual A cover should be more specific to the issue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
But what this weekend Marcus came up with that term, instead of clickbait, it's cover bait or something like that.
Yeah. I love that during your video.
Yeah.
when you were explaining to him that, and he called it cover bait. That was perfect. I want to start using that. You know.
Yeah.
And he used it. I mean, he's obviously really bright, but you know, it's always fun as your kids get older and they continue to add on to their vocabulary and understanding of how and why and what they're saying. So when he used it perfectly, and then it made me even laugh even more later in the video. You know, it's maybe not isn't the subject that anyone cares on this live stream, but because they haven't seen the video. But when he quoted, he goes, "Oh, he died." It was like, you know, it was a perfect quotation for a kid too. You know.
Yeah.
I really like that. So anyway, so then the next thing I'll say about both of these, again, we were talking about the cost, and these are $4.99 books, but as you can see right below the, you know, Batman Detective Comics title there, it also includes Gotham Girl Interrupted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's literally, in these two issues, a full comic book of this Gotham Girl Interrupted. So I'm like, I wonder, because I don't care about Gotham Girl Interrupted, you know. I wonder if Gotham Girl Interrupted weren't in there, could this have been $1 cheaper at least, maybe more? Because literally, like I said, there's 20 pages of Batman Detective Comics, and then there's 10 pages of Gotham Girl Interrupted. So there's literally a whole nother extra comic of something that I had no interest in buying in this book. With this book that, yeah, like I said, makes you go, could this have been cheaper just by not including something that I didn't want, you know?
Yeah, that's the big issue with Detective. I think Batman does it as well. They raise the dollar. They give a backup story that they're selling you a backup story that nobody asked for.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, drop the dollar, drop the backup story. Just give me.
Yeah, just give me what I'm expecting. Right. Yeah. All right. So this, I'm going to use my notes here. So this was written by Mariko Tamaki and Nadia Shamus. Did I pronounce those correctly?
Well, Tamaki, sure. I have issues with Tamaki.
The cover was done by Rice, Miki, and Anderson. You know, when there's 3 artists on a cover like that, does that mean, you know, one's the pencils, one's the colors, is like that, or, you know, you'd assume, right?
Yeah, pencils, inks, then colors.
Yeah.
So,
and then the interior artist is Ivan Rice, and the interior of these are great too. This is a beautiful book from beginning to end, in my opinion. And you know, I don't mind the covers. I especially like the cover for 1061. It's really nice.
Yeah.
You know, I expressed my frustrations with them, obviously, but as you can see on 1060, this is a Riddler story arc, and basically, kind of in a nutshell, it's just a story as old as time where someone who's persecuted, namely Riddler, for being a bad guy, quoting like Mark, basically, uses his, the way Riddler works, uses his clever ways of doing riddles and pointing out to everyone that everyone else in Gotham City is a bad guy as well, technically. Everybody's got skeletons in their closets. So this is actually, I think, a 3-issue arc, and this is the second and third issue of the 3-issue arc. So I got to finish the entire story, so I got to see how it ended up. And but basically, like I said, he's showing the world and trying to force people to confess their sins, And some of the characters he's doing that with are very, ends up very bad people that are in positions of authority, namely a judge and a lawyer, and stuff like that. These people that are convicting criminals, are actually criminals themselves, So he actually refers to them all as the citizen criminals, and he's actually doing a broadcast on YouTube or Facebook. I don't think they state a specific social media, but he does this regular broadcast of, dropping these riddles and hints and stuff to people as to who they should actually be looking at that are actually the criminals instead of who Batman's after that are the criminals, And it definitely comes to a conclusion, which I don't want to ruin, but I was really enjoying this. I could track with this one, not having read the first one. It talked about it enough to where I grasped what happened in the first one of this arc, and I really liked this from beginning to end. It was definitely, I was worried because of what I reviewed last time that I was setting myself up for a downfall again, but this didn't. This was a detective I'm used to, obviously with Riddler and Batman, and it was a well done story, and I definitely give this get it. I don't think I give it. Maybe if I read one, I might give it a must-have, but definitely get it for both of these. 1060 and 1061 Detective Comics.
Did you read Gotham Girl Interrupted?
No.
Dang it. Just wanted to know.
Right.
Very good. I'm kidding.
Maybe you could, cut it out and send it to Mike, since you don't want it.
No, I have. I'll read it.
This isn't.
It definitely, the biggest reason I didn't read it, well, partially is because I read these Detective this morning. So,
Yeah.
Cramp for time, So, and then secondly, every panel that I looked at in all of them had nothing but females. So it's definitely a, targeted towards females story. I'd assume from what I could see,
Probably playing on what was that movie, Girl Interrupted?
Yeah, Girl Interrupted with
his, Gotham Girl. But that's the thing. I mean, did anybody care about Gotham Girl way back when Tom King created her at the beginning of the Batman Rebirth?
Well, my vote is definitely no. So.
Right.
She didn't even look cool either or anything. I don't know, because I looked at like I said, I looked at the pictures. I just didn't read the story. So, but anyway, there you go. Both of mine are get it.
Look at those reflections. Johnny's going to really have to pick that cover up.
Yeah. I was actually going to say that about, did Johnny do his pick 3 this week, Mike?
Yeah.
Did he pick Bounty Hunters? He had to have, right?
He did not.
Oh man.
Let me, I don't think he did. No, Marcus is the only one to pick Bounty Hunters.
Yeah, every time I see those reflections, just like you said that, I think Johnny now. So.
What's
I'm
funny
like,
about
Johnny definitely picked that one. Which it was pretty cool. And the reflections when the reflections are done really well, it makes it even that much better, of course.
What's funny about that detective, I didn't notice the reflection in the mirror until just now when it was up on the screen. And I had looked at it numerous times.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't know.
Well, I think maybe that's part of the, attraction to them, especially for Johnny, obviously, is that they sneak up on you. Sometimes you don't even realize they're there.
Yeah.
All right, so then I'm going to talk about this for a minute. The reviewed book added to the Fun Fan freebie phrase this week. I guess we'll have to do The Bunker, number 1. Being a must-have.
All right. Track. You can't have my copy. Track that down.
That's what I was going to say. Now we need to buy 3 this week. 1 for me, 1 for the
Right.
Fun Fan freebie, and one for Pat.
Yeah, the trades might be better for you guys.
What'd you
Easier to
say?
track down, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure we'll be able to find that book. I don't think it'll be a problem.
Yeah, you know, I might have a double of one of the issues, like number 9 or something like that. I think I
We're
stuck
only
it.
including one with the lot. So
Right.
number 1.
Remember.
So unless you review it every week and give a must-have to every single one of them, which I'd be interested in seeing that. If somebody can win a whole lot,
Yeah.
if it survives that long too.
Well, I'm gonna read them all, and I'll probably just do a little quick. I'm not gonna review each individual book, but I'll kind of throw out a little. I'm still enjoying it, or it's gone to trash, or something like that.
Well, I'm actually going to tell you, I've thought about that a lot with our reviews. It would be really fun for like one of us, and since it was my idea, I'm actually thinking about it being me, is just reading just one title
All the time.
for one of the books, and then another title for the next book, and cover it.
Yeah.
Every week. That'd be great.
You'd
That's
have to
why I
do
was
back
mentioning
issues.
that with yours too, Pat.
Yeah, you'd have to do back issues because, like Patrick, he can't do Redman number 2 for at least 30 days.
Right.
All right, yeah, you'd have to. So you'd have to have 4 books you'd be doing that with, in essence, right?
Unless it's Amazing Spider-Man or something that comes out weekly or
Or
bi-weekly.
Saga, or Saga that doesn't come out every 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess those are the problems there. But you could definitely do it with Bunker, so I guess you should do it first.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, cool. Those are great reviews, though. So Bunker number 1 is added this week, though, to the Fun Fan freebie. So